Well, to all of those watching this live or watching the replay, we announced last week that we are postponing our 3-day retreat. And in lieu of that, we are hosting a 1-evening event. So if you didn't hear it, now you've heard it. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. I know maybe we caused a little bit of confusion. One of the biggest reasons why we did this, to just be 100% transparent, is we had a lot of people reach out and say that they were already booked for that entire weekend or couldn't commit for the entire weekend. They were doing something else. And so that's kind of what made the decision for us. We decided to shift gears and embrace the flow of information, embrace the flow of what's going on out there today, and make a change. So that's why we did it. But we didn't want to just not do anything, just postpone to 2024, because we are so incredibly excited, jazzed, if you will, jazz hands. We're totally jazzed about doing this event and being with you guys in person. So we really wanted to do something. So we went back to the drawing board and thought, how can we support our community and how can we support the world on their journey of ascension? So we came up with a 1-day exclusive event. And we're told in our society, be the change that you want to see in the world. We're told, go within and you can change your outer reality. And these are things that I truly believe in my heart. And I'm sure you do too, Heather. And on our journey of ascension, everybody's looks a little bit different, whether, you started with reading good books or, hiring coaches, or, maybe you dove right into the deep end and started learning about, neuro-linguistic reprogramming, the healing arts, Reiki, becoming a shaman. There's so many ways, and there is no right and there is no wrong along this ascension journey. And one thing that I hear people say often, and I have felt this many different times throughout my journey as well, is that it doesn't feel like it's happening fast enough, right? The world is changing so quickly, and yet this journey that we're on just feels like things aren't changing fast enough. Have you had that experience, Heather?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of data points that you can point to when you're looking at how far you're traveling, right? And so when you look at the events that are happening in the world, it seems like, every day things just get weirder and weirder and crazier and crazier. And so you're kind of looking at it going, oh my gosh, everything is changing so fast, and it's hard to almost keep up. But you're comparing the data points in one subset of information, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like when it comes to the ascension journey, there's not the same kind of data points, because ascension is so random in a way. The universe provides you with what it is that it needs you to learn, or what it wants you to experience, or what you said that you wanted when you came here. So there are no real data points. You can always look back on how far you've come, but you can't really even forecast forward because you just don't know, right? And so I think that that's the most important part about ascension, is being in the right now moment. And every choice and decision that you're making right now, make it for right now. Don't make it for necessarily what's happened in the past. You don't need to make it for necessarily what you are shooting for in the future or wanting to avoid in the future. Because if you're wanting to avoid something in the future, you're really making those choices based on what's happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And if you're trying to plan something for the future, it's probably because of something that you don't want to experience from your past. And so when you're looking at your ascension journey, where are you at right now? And what can you do today in this moment that creates a new data point that you can look back on later and go, oh yeah, I see now how far I've come. I remember that time that I was listening to Jody and Heather talk about their event change. And what a transformation that happened for me, because I thought, oh my God, I couldn't come to the 3-day thing. And now I can come to the 1-day thing.
Yeah.
Shameless pug for our, for our special event. But yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And with that in mind, we have co-created this event to be infused with elements that are designed to create rapid change. And the first one is nature. Nature is such an important driver of our ascension, or maybe not driver might not be the word, but holder of our ascension. Like there's so much magic in nature. If you look at the scientific perspective, you know, it can lower, being in nature can lower your blood pressure, can help with asthma, can help with decreasing, it decreases, and this is almost like instantaneously when your feet are on the ground. It decreases your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. And, you know, something that I teach about often in my abundance practice is that when you're in that fight or flight response, you can't make good decisions. You're kind of like a toddler having a tantrum. You can't see a bigger, brighter perspective. And just simply being in nature calms that nervous system. It has that wild ability to do so. And something that I also love about nature, it's the total package of abundance. Like you look at flowers or you look at grass and it came from this tiny little seed and it's so resilient. It pops up out of the earth. It is nurtured and it becomes this beautiful flower, or 1,000 million bazillion blades of grass. This is abundance right here in your life. You get to tap into the energy and the magic of abundance of nature. So that was element number one, is nature. And we've talked about it before. We are hosting this one evening event on a family farm. It happens to be my family homestead where I grew up. My family and I have created basically like a ghost town that is just coming to life every single year. That's so incredibly precious and special, not only to our family, but I keep saying this, there's something so magical about that space. You know, a couple of years ago, a fire came in and there was fire surrounding this, what we call Waynestown. That's my dad's name, Waynestown. It went all the way around, but it dead stopped at a bank of trees that were dry. The fire should have never stopped there. That should have been like kindling for the fire to explode. But this place is so sacred that it dead stopped at the trees. It dead stopped where the sunflower amphitheater that we're building out actually is. It went all the way around, almost burned the neighbor's house down, you know, almost took out some other stuff that we had in the field, in the homestead there. But it didn't, thank God, everybody was okay and everything was fine. But every single person that comes to this space talks about how magical it feels, how connected you are to not only nature, but your ability to connect to others there.
You know, I want to pause you for just 1 second, because I want to talk for a second about the sunflower amphitheater. So for those of you that haven't really been following along, or maybe don't know this yet, but this sunflower amphitheater that is being created for the sound bath and cacao ceremony part of the evening, this is being grown. So like, you know, it's like a big empty field. And, you know, Jody Lynn and her family are out there planting sunflowers in varying heights to create this enclosure, like an enclosure almost, for you to be in the nature, to be amongst the flowers, to be able to watch the sunset if your eyes aren't closed because you're basking in beautiful sounds. But, this is literally being created just for you. Like, this is not something that they would normally do. They are literally building the infrastructure and they're building the property out and they're building all of this stuff just for this event. So, like, this is a big deal, people. I mean, I think it's like really extraordinary. And I think it really speaks to your character, Jody, about how you're willing to put in the sweat equity to create a really beautiful experience. And I think it's fantastic. So I really hope that, everybody joins in, because it's going to be an extraordinary event. And the Sunflower Amphitheater room, I just, like, every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be there the whole time. So if you want to see me, I'm going to be there.
It's interesting because this is kind of total sidebar, but I feel like we have some time, so it's okay. My relationship with my mother has been one of the things that I have worked on in my 30s, and just reconnecting with her and my own, divine feminine side and all of that. And there was a lot of healing that I did in that realm. And really, to be honest, my mom and I went from really butting heads for a long time to becoming really, really close over the last few years. And that's just the internal work that I was doing to change my perception of the relationship. And where I'm going with this is that I had this huge download a couple of months ago when I was sitting with my mom, that the way that she expresses her love is through food. She always feeds everybody that comes out to the farm. She wants to provide a big meal and all of this stuff. And I started to look at and change my relationship with food. It's not just something I got to do. Like, I got to make dinner. And so I have to eat, because my body won't function if I don't eat. I get very hangry very quickly. But I was looking at it as just like a checkbox rather than this nourishing, enlightening experience. And when I had that download, I really felt this overwhelming feeling of love from my mom. And I could see over, my entire lifespan, how she has shown me how much she loves me simply by, packing a little lunch for me when I go to hang out with my dad, or like making sure that I'm fed. Like, she's always worrying about that side of things, or bringing that to the table. And I just felt in that moment, in that realization, I felt so nourished and I felt so held and I felt so loved. And that's what spawned the idea of the Sunflower Amphitheater. Is, I get to, with my own hands in the dirt, infuse love not only into these plants, who we've channeled this before. Go check out our episode on plants. They are conscious beings. They are communicating with you. So I get to, have this relationship with a plant. Essentially, many of them, I was counting them out. There's like 200 and some that have started, and that we need to plant in the Sunflower Amphitheater formation. But not only do I get to do that, and that love is going to be exhibited and reciprocated to all of the people who get to see this thing, who get to experience this. And I don't know that there's ever been one like this in the entire world. I talked to a plant lady at the Canadian Tire when I was buying seed here in Canada, that, about a month ago or something. And she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I told her all about it. And she was like, "Wow, I've never even heard of anything like that." And actually, the idea was from my husband, Nate. This is something that he wanted to create for me, to help me ground and be present and have a space that, was safe and that was inviting and nurturing. So that's what the Sunflower Amphitheater is all about. So that's one thing that we get to do. We're doing a sound bath in a sunflower amphitheater. So you've got nature, we've already talked about all of that, and then you've got the frequencies from the actual sound bath, and frequency is everything. So imagine how amplified this experience is going to be in a sunflower amphitheater.
Yeah, and the cool part about the sound bath is that before we do the sound bath, there's going to be a sacred cacao ceremony. And so, it's that anybody who's, if you've been a part of that, if you've done something like that, drop a, little note in the comments saying, I've been there. But the thing about the sacred cacao ceremony is it really allows you to set the intention for what it is that you want to be, what you want to create in the world. Like, it gives you this opportunity to place your order with the universe. And I think that that's really important, because sometimes when we place our order with the universe, we go out there and we place the order, and then 5 seconds later, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Like, are you bringing it? Oh, well, let me change my order because you haven't brought it yet, And so the beautiful thing about that type of intention setting ceremony with a sound bath immediately after is it allows you to place your order with the universe, and then it allows you to set the intention that it's going to be brought to you, and it allows you to then let it go and just immerse yourself in that vibrational exchange with the universe. And so I think that that's really a beautiful experience and can be very, very powerful, especially if you utilize it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just like a couple little things.
That's just the beginning of the evening. Okay. We're just scratching the surface. From there, we are still doing a multi-course divine food experience, a feast, farm to table dinner, a culinary delight. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is going to be masterful. Every single dish curated with the vibration, the energy of love and expansion and transformation infused into it. And again, all of the vegetables, because I guess I really like to be busy. All of the vegetables are coming from our farm, mine and my husband's family farm. We have a big vegetable garden, and that's, another one of the businesses that we have. So
hang on. I just want to clarify the vegetable garden for just a second here, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea about the vegetable garden, because here from where I'm from, a garden kind of like, you think like, oh, someone's backyard garden, they got some tomatoes and they got a few of this and a few of that, like, 5 plants of this and 4 plants of that. So Jody, what is the size of your vegetable garden?
Yes. Okay. So we have a open air garden and we have 2 greenhouses. So our open air garden is, I think, 3 or 4 acres. I could be wrong about that, but its entirety is 3 or 4 acres. That is bigger than if you live in the city, your lot, by a lot, most likely. But in addition,
for anybody who, let's just do the math here. We're going to go with 4 acres.
Sure.
3 or 4 acres. Let's just call it 4 acres. That is 174,000 square feet. That is like the same as putting probably, I don't know, 10 Walmarts together. Just like, I just want to clarify what a garden is in Jody's world, because this is not a garden. This is a farming operation.
Yes.
Okay. Please continue.
It's a farming operation. And then we also have the greenhouse, which is almost 100 feet long by 40 feet wide. Mm-hmm. So we got all of that full of fresh, delicious vegetables, and something that's really important to us as a family and as a market garden business is being sustainable and growing things that aren't full of chemicals. So we're not technically organic because, you know, there's a high price tag, both on the consumer side as well as the producer side, that comes with the tag organic. So we would rather, you know, utilize that money in growing more vegetables and sustaining more of our community. So we don't use any herbicides, pesticides, or any of that kind of stuff. Everything is natural. We feed like our vegetables, you know, natural spring water. We have a lake on our property that, you know, we utilize to help those vegetables grow. And so there's tons of different things, like almost anything that you can imagine, from hot stuff to, you know, our regular cauliflower, broccoli, all of that stuff that has been planted and will be utilized. And this farm to table dinner experience is not just veggies, because I love meat.
Yeah.
Heather loves meat.
Hang on. Before you go into the actual like food situation, I want to go back to the garden for just a second. So as you've been talking, I've been mathematically figuring this out here. So you said that you have one of your greenhouses is 100 feet by 40 feet. Yeah. So for those of you who, yeah, so that's 4,000 square feet. That's like 3 of my houses, my actual house, like the one I live in. So, I mean, that is like a Texas sized house, right? Like there's a lot of 4,000 square foot houses out here, right? We happen to live in a small house, but you know, everybody else lives in a gigantic 4,000 square foot house ish. So when we're talking about all of this land, you know, 175,000 acres or something we said, right? Plus 4,000 square feet in greenhouse, and you've got 2 of those. So this is like a serious like garden. Like it's not a garden, you guys. It is an actual real working farm. And the thing that's so amazing about it is that Jody and her husband, Nate, do this with very little help. I mean, you know, his dad helps a little, you know, our good friend Jackie's come over to help with some of the planting and stuff like that. But, you know, this is something that you spend a lot of your time cultivating. Yes. And the thing is that's so incredible about it is that you have 2 businesses outside of this one, right? Maybe 3. I'm not sure. I think 2. And your husband has a full-time job. And like somehow you guys do this. I just think it's super incredible and just goes to the proof of how like extraordinary you are. Like you know, I look at this and I'm like, man, and I'm complaining about like, I'm complaining about not having enough time. And here you're over here running a few businesses, planning a garden. You know?
I'm like, I'll say to people, yeah, we gotta plant the garden at spring planting or whatever. And then a week later, they're like, oh yeah, are you done? I'm like, no. A week later after that, are you done? No, not yet. There's literally hundreds of hours that go into all of this. This was a dream of my husband's, and he wanted to provide literally pickling cucumbers and dill. And the more that he grew, the more that he wanted to grow, and the more that he saw the prices skyrocket, especially these days, the more he wanted to provide for the community, for the people in our area. And, you know, I got on board with that vision, that dream, and here we are today. Like last night we were out in the greenhouse until 11 p.m. So it's not like that all summer long. It's just like that right now in planting season. I have very dirty hands. Like it's impossible to get them clean.
They call that a farmer's Frenchie, farmer's French manicure.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. It's a farmer's French manicure. Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's something that's very important to us is providing for people in this way. And if you've ever tasted farm fresh vegetables or vegetables from a garden, they're not like the store. They are not like the store. And I can say that for a lot of different types of vegetables, that just the quality of the food and the energy of the food is completely different because someone is putting their own intention and love into making that one thing grow and providing for it in whatever way that is, whether it's keeping the deers away or the moles or just water, all of those things. And it's a magical experience. Has taught me a lot about abundance and that vibration of abundance. Like you plant one potato and then, there's like 20 in the hole. You dig them up. It's mind blowing how abundant our earth is and how everything that we need to thrive, it can be found literally in your backyard, or you can cultivate in your own backyard. That's magic to me. So
yeah. Well, okay. So yes, it's not going to be just vegetables. Like the vegetables are going to be a main part of the meal, but there will also be different proteins. There's going to be probably some sweets involved. And
yep.
this is a multi-course experience. So,
let me fill you in on an idea from a chef. So this is kind of to give you a teaser. I'm not saying this is the menu, but let me let your mouth water.
Oh my gosh. And this is the first time I'm hearing this. So I am all ears.
Yeah. Last night when I was hungry, this individual was sending me pictures of ideas. Homemade ravioli, mascarpone, and fig fruit with prosciutto, tiger prawns, truffle oil, fresh basil, and local Parmesan cheese.
Yum.
Oh my gosh. Yes. How about
please?
Smoked pork chop with local, I don't know, samimi mushrooms and asparagus in organic olive oil.
Yum.
That's just some ideas that have been floated around for the meal. And like, my mouth is literally watering right now. I love to eat.
Yes, me too.
Yes. So that's what we have in store for you is a visual and palate, intense meal.
It will be a visual and culinary explosion.
Exactly.
What do they call that? Like a flavorgasm or something like that.
Flavorgasm.
Anyway,
yes,
exactly.
And
so what else are we going to have? What else are we going to be doing besides the food?
I was just going to say, this is still only the scratching the surface. This isn't even the main event for the evening. The main event for the evening is an all access pass to Channel Squared. That's us. The 2 channels, we are going to be fireside in the channel, channeling the divine, the New Earth Collective, the Abundance Consciousness Consciousness Council. All of those will have access to your higher selves. You can ask any question, and it's going to be a small group. This isn't like an auditorium full of 100 or 200 people. We're talking like 30 or 40 people max. That's it. So we're going to be sitting, kneecap to kneecap next to one another, and you can ask anything under the sun, get divine guidance on your purpose, what's happening in your life, any problem that you need a solution to. And speaking from personal experience, when you're in the presence of other channels that have honed their gift and that have clarity, like Heather has taught me to have, it is an opening of your soul, of your heart, and this clear channel the resonance that you can feel of your connection to your own higher self is off the charts.
Mhm. I think that like the thing that's so rad about this opportunity is that we're going to be there with you. Yet we are facilitating this, but we're going to be there with you going through the experiences too. We're going to join in the cacao and the sound bath and the dinner. We're literally going to be breaking bread with you. We're literally going to be setting intentions with you. And we're going to be doing all of this with our channels wide open for you, to hold you and to support you and to allow you to drop into that divine connection to source. And like Jody says, when you're in that type of environment, it almost creates this like really beautiful portal to the other side. And so I think that if you are somebody who does tap into the other side to receive information, to get downloads, if you're stuck on a project and you just don't know where to go, if you are having writer's block, if you don't know, like you're a new earth leader that is trying to, bring forth your people to, help in the ascension of the planet, you should absolutely be at this event, if for no other reason than to sit inside the portal that we have created for you. Because I have seen so many people come out of the funkiest of funks by just co-working with me. Mm-hmm. I'm not even channeling for them. And I'm sure, Jody, you've had this experience too. You open up your field and you hold them and you support them, and people who don't even know how to channel suddenly become channels, because it's like we've cleared the static. We've removed all the fuzz. We've just polished the lines, put you on fiber internet to God and said, here you go.
What are you going to do? Conversation.
Let's do it. Exactly. So, it's really is a wonderful opportunity. And, even if you don't care about all that other stuff that we're doing, you should at least come to sit in the energy, because it will be like nothing you've ever experienced before. And I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. So this is the kickoff to the greatest transformation. So join us August 18th, live and in person for our exclusive one evening event in Alberta, Canada. It's just outside of Edmonton, again, on my homestead family farm. We're so excited. And I believe there's an option for monthly payment plans that is low as $49 a month. So really reasonable. Make sure you check it out. Go to www.channelsquared.co. And if you have questions, drop them in the chat, or, you want to connect with us, you can do that either on our website, channelsquared.co, or right through YouTube. I think that's pretty much it. We're so excited to host you, to spend time with you, to help you during this ascension journey, and to really elevate and move the needle on this transformation, to help you receive and be everything that you were meant to be and receive in this lifetime. Thanks so much for watching.